Effective communication competencies play a crucial role in various aspects of life, including personal relationships, professional success, and academic achievements. In the context of education, the ability to communicate effectively is paramount for both teachers and students. It encompasses not only the exchange of information, but also the establishment of meaningful connections, understanding, and collaboration within the classroom environment. However, several factors can influence the development and mastery of communication competencies. Understanding these factors is essential for creating a conducive learning environment that promotes effective communication skills. In this discussion, we will explore the key factors that contribute to the development of communication competencies in the educational setting and their impact on student engagement and success. As Olivia Hanifan emphasizes, the communication skills acquired by students in school are not only valuable within the educational setting, but also highly applicable in all areas of life. Moreover, research has demonstrated the positive influence of supportive teacher-student relationships on various aspects of the education, including class participation, engagement, and overall academic achievements. This highlights the significance of effective communication in the classroom, as it plays a pivotal role in facilitating learning and fostering positive interactions. We will explore the importance of effective communication and its impact on student success with the educational context. However, several communication barriers exist within the classroom. One major barrier is the signal-to-noise ratio, which measures the teacher's volume relative to other sound in the classroom. To ensure comprehension, the teacher's voice should be at least 15 dB louder than any background noise. Tone of voice is another critical aspect of class communication or of classroom communication. How teachers deliver their instruction, including pitch, volume, rhythm, inflection, and cadence, can significantly impact students' engagement and understanding. Non-verbal communication is equally important, as students are adept at detecting inconsistencies between words and body language. Facial expressions, postures, gestures communicate the teacher's confidence, organization, enthusiasm, patience, and empathy. Students quickly notice signs of boredom, anger, worry, lack of preparation, or detachment, which can undermine effective communication. Listening is an active skill that goes beyond hearing. While our brains filter out secondary sounds, active listening requires understanding the intended meanings behind students' words. It is easy to take students' words literally, particularly in a busy classroom environment with various distractions. Moreover, student participation plays a significant role in classroom communication. While some students naturally participate more than others, creating an exclusive classroom dynamic encourages all students to contribute. Basic rules like raising hands and taking turns to speak foster an open environment. Additionally, planning small group conversations, assigning conversation partners, and organizing events can entice reserved students to participate. Effective communication in the classroom is vital for students' overall growth and academic achievements. Overcoming communication barriers such as the signal-to-noise ratio, tone of voice, nonverbal communication, listening skills enhances the learning experience, encouraging student participation and creating an inclusive classroom environment. Further strengthen communication and fosters a supportive learning community. This video presentation serves as a comprehensive tool to foster communication competencies among grade 7 students. It targets administrators, teachers, parents, offering valuable insights and strategies for enhancing classroom communication factors. By recognizing and addressing communication challenges, this initiative aims to create a supportive environment that promotes effective communication skills among students, leading to improved academic performance and overall success. Additionally, this study contributes to the researchers' knowledge and expertise in conducting further research in the field of communication. The objective of this video presentation are: first, gain insights into the impact of various classroom communication factors on the communication competencies of grade 7 students. Second, provide valuable information for educators, administrators, and parents to enhance students' communication skills and create supportive learning environment. Third, improve communication competency among students, leading to overall academic success and personal growth. Fourth, help administrators and teachers to observe and assess classroom communication factors influencing students' communication skills. Lastly, provide guidance and suggestions to teachers for addressing and improving students' communication skills. The first factor, signal-to-noise ratio. Get information from rapid speech affect the communication competencies in classroom communication of high-performing students and least-performing students. Speaking rapidly can lead to unclear words, pure articulations, and a monotone that stop your audience from internalizing what you are saying. Despite the fact that they may hear what you say, they could not fully understand what you mean.
We can change the speed at which we speak depending on how we are feeling. Faster speech can be used to convey urgency, while slower speech can be used to emphasize. Orators can produce dramatic effects when speaking in front of an audience by changing the volume and cadence of their speech. The tactic of the constructing highly loud and extremely quiet utterance is widely used by those aiming to generate strong emotions in their audience. Speaking too quickly is one of the most common behavior that could impair effective speaking talents. It is exhausting to have put up with disturbing speaking habits. This increases the chances of miscommunication, loss of opportunity, or damaged credibility. Study shows that understanding native speaker when they speak too quickly is one of the hardest parts of learning English. So that their students might benefit from their part of learning, teachers must talk more slowly when teaching English. The students need this more than anything else. Thus, since several studies have shown slowing down speech does affect speakers' ability to be understood. Teachers need to be able to relate knowledge to their students as well as speak to them as a steady but not hurried pace. They must also remember to take a little break at the end of each pertinent statement. Students should also naturally concentrate on grammar as well as adequate articulation, intonation, and pace when giving oral presentation. If they speak too quickly, they run the danger of pronouncing words incorrectly and alienating even native speakers. Non-native English speakers frequently speak too slowly when they do not yet have strong grasp of language. However, as their language skills and cognitive abilities develop, they also speak faster. It is according to Urbasi 2015.
The statement process speech at different rates by making inferences from what was said also affect the communication competencies in classroom communication of the least performing students.
In addition to reading closely to determine what the spec says implicitly, students are expected to analyze how and why individual events and ideas develop and interact, which determine central ideas or themes, and cite specific textual evidence when writing or speaking to support conclusions drawn from the text. It is according to CCSO 2010 and C-Hall 2020. So one of the greatest tools as the speaker can be ability to pace yourself. When to change speed? First, fast indication of passion, urgency, excitement, and emotion. For slow, indication of importance, sadness, confusion, and seriousness of the point of the introduction of new ideas. It is used to help the audience grasp what you are saying. The audience is initially excited when you speak quickly, but after a minute or two, it stops being entertaining and instead becomes overwhelming. A slow lecture can weary your audience since they will lose interest while waiting for you to get to the point. Speaking slowly can help the audience pay attention and comprehend every word. How can you know if you are speaking too quickly or slowly? Even while you may think your pace is ideal in your thoughts, it is possible that you are off. Knowing your speech rates can be useful in this situation. Speech rate is just how quickly you speak. It is measured in words per minute, the rate at which speech is uttered. So the speech rate guidelines, slow less than 110 WPM, conversational between 120 WPM and 100 WPM. For fast, more than 160 WPM. For radio hosts and podcasters speaks at 150 to 160 YPM, and auctioneers and commentators speak between 250 to 400 YPM.
The average performing students and the general result affect the communication competencies in classroom communication in terms of to single out direct and indirect signals used by speaker.
Instead of using all caps, bold, italics, and or underlining in an email, which can collectively look angry rather than empathic. It can be beneficial to slow down your speech, increase your volume to jolt the listener into paying closer attention, and lower your pitch to sound more authoritative. If your audience includes English language learners, speaking louder and shouting will not make you more understandable to them than using approachable word selections and regular tone. Use plain language and 10 to 20 word active voice phrases and stay away from idioms, figures of speech that are not literal translations. Your voice pitch its frequency which you can change for impact. To convey nuance of meaning and keep the listeners interested, a pleasant, natural voice will have some variation in pitch. Raised for humorous quips, a speaker who has robotic-sounding monotone voices with a flat pitch tends to bore their listeners since they themselves appear to be bored. By varying your volume and pitch, you can better convey the emotional undertone of your words, enhancing the already immensely rich spoken communication channel, according to Smith 2019.
The second factor, tone of voice. Use English when offering things to classmates and teachers. Identify the functions of utterances, taking into account the context of the situation, seeking information, giving directions, expressed, approval, disapproval, etc. Affect the communication competencies in classroom communication of high-performing students as well as the least performing students and the general result. Learners need to develop the ability to generate diverse sorts of speak, not just precisely and suitably, for the social cultural setting in which they are interacting, but also fluently, in order to communicate effectively in the real world. Speaking is therefore never an easy talent to learn, especially for foreign language. Students who do not routinely hear and use the target language in authentic contexts.
To transmit meaning and achieve comprehensibility, learners need to develop their capacity to generate locally and globally comprehensible utterances, as well as understanding of how transmission line sound system functions, like pronunciation skills from Go 2016. In addition to teaching related speech sounds, teaching pronunciation also entails teaching stress patterns, rhythm, and intonation. Additionally, students should work on producing linguistic acts for varied communicative and social contexts, utilizing the right syntax and vocabulary. It is from, for example, in speech function skills, it is from Go 2016. Learners must be aware of not only language forms but also their communication functions and appropriate settings of use in order to attain the intended communicative goals. For instance, when making requests, students need to be able to choose the most appropriate expression depending on the speaker's roles. Examples of appropriate expression include pass the salt, please. Can you please pass the salt? And the salt, please. This comprehension needs formal education and lots of exposure to the target language. It is according to Dakuchi and Rover 2017. Interaction management skills such as how to start and end the discussion, select socially and culturally appropriate conversation topics, refrain from bringing up taboo subjects, take turns during interactions, and switch topics are the next set of abilities that the students need to acquire. It is according to Go 2016. Due to cultural diversity, learning this might also be difficult. It is from Wong and Warren 2021 and Renania and Nudin 2023. To help them develop self-confidence when speaking, the kids must learn to practice their speaking more. Instead of being afraid to make mistakes in speaking in class, it is important to learn from other student blunders. Students should also check the dictionary to make sure they are pronouncing words correctly. Students are advised to listen to native speakers in order to expand their vocabulary. Additionally, it is advised that teachers provide speaking activities to pique students' interest. Students that are interested in the topic will begin to develop their speaking skills. Students may be paired with other students to work in pairs in speaking class as part of teacher's lesson plan. By double-checking their work before beginning to speak in front of the class, pair mates are intended to help pupils develop their speaking skills. It is according to Sorani and Sumaya 2020. So there are 7 techniques for quickly enhancing your English language skills by watching English movies. Netflix shows can help you to grasp the language better. Get habituated or colloquial conversational forms of English and implicitly develop a feel for the language. However, they may not exactly increase your debating abilities or formal register. You might also try to pick out words that sound quite casual and check up their more academic equivalents. Of course, there are a ton of documentaries Of course, there are a ton of documentaries available online as well. Start with Anything by David Attenborough. It may be beneficial to begin thinking in English after being exposed to language for the duration of the film. Second one, get familiar with English language news. Try to read a variety of English language publications such as broadsheets, magazines, and tabloids. This variety of news sources will not only keep you informed about current events but also help you to build your vocabulary. Another benefit is that you feel more at ease with the spelling of words and the situation in which they are used. The third one is create a dictionary of practical terms. Make a list of helpful terms and phrases in a notebook or on your computer. Make a note of any unfamiliar words you come across or hear. Do not just concentrate on the word. Look at its synonyms and other uses as well. After all, even if you know what terms precedence or tantalizing are, do you know how to use them correctly? And the fourth one, have an English conversation. Even though listening and reading exercises might be beneficial, you still need to interact with English and hone your speaking abilities. If you are fortunate, you may know few native English speakers who can assist you. But if not, attempt you to meet up with someone else who is also learning the language. Talking to or recording yourself in the mirror is an additional option. Although it may feel a little strange at first, hearing your voice will allow you to catch errors that you were previously unaware. The fifth one, practice, practice, practice. So academic words will not suddenly appear in your head out of nowhere, let us face it. Even if you already speak English well, you should not become complacent or undervalue though situation like exams time constraints. No matter how much time you have until your big day, still need to practice. Try creating a word of the day and then make an effort to use it as frequently as you can. Avoid wasting time on precise words you will not actually use if you do this. Instead, concentrate on speaking English in context, which will likely be useful in the exam. The sixth one, curiosity does not always kill the cat. You need to answer many questions in order to quickly progress. Read words, not phrases. Do not believe everything you read online. Rather, consider why they are utilized in particular way and whether different constructions are also visible. Of course, it's easy to settle with the first Google result that appears, but if you exhibit a little inquiry, you will uncover more benefit. And the seventh one, do not forget to have fun while you learn. If learning English is just a core, you will not do as well because it appears tedious. For this reason, it is critical to maintain motivation and have fun while learning new language. Find ways to have fun as you study, such as playing word games with friends to improve your critical thinking. Undoubtedly, learning a new language requires time and effort. You cannot begin at the beginning and finish an academic paper within a week. However, if you put in a lot of effort while building a solid basis, you can get robust results repeatedly. You should be especially prepared for exam like IELTS by being aware of the kind of question that will be asked, the format that will be used, and the best way to approach each task. Instead of hastily attempting to catch up with everything at once, try to remain focused and make improvements to certain areas. It is according to Laura Kabelka 2023.
While most of the average performing students affect the communication competencies in classroom communication, in terms of speak in clear, correct English appropriate to situations and adjust rate, volume, and choice of register to suit the audience.
Speaking was viewed as one of the four crucial language abilities that needed to be honed from the start with the advent of the communicative method, according to Tyler 2018. The communicative method uses classroom activities to engage students in meaningful communication. Communication where genuine information is conveyed, so there is a purpose for communication, which is founded on the idea that language is a tool for making meaning. Speaking is taught and practiced using a variety of interactive activities that emphasize improving learners' conversational abilities, communicative tactics, knowledge of speech functions, and speaking fluency, according to Tyler 2018. Speaking fluency is seen as the use of natural language that takes place when students interact in real conversations. Speaking tasks that enable learners to use language spontaneously to achieve particular communicative goals as opposed to displaying linguistic knowledge that how fluency is fostered. Particularly when learners are pushed to perform at a faster than typical speed, according to Newton and Nation 2020, these tasks include but are not limited to discussions, debating, role-playing, problem-solving, and interviews and information gaps. According to Go 2016, page 145, speaking involves dynamic interactions of mental, articulatory, and social processes. As a complicated talent, speaking cognitively entails the speaker conceptualizing the process of selecting what to say, formulating the process of formulation, and articulating the process of uttering the message in TL utilizing the relevant language and sociocultural knowledge, knowing the subject and understanding the kind such as formal presentation versus casual chat are contexts of interactions, such as participants' topic for the speech. When deciding what to say, one must choose the employ grammatical and lexical tools such as words, phrases, and sentences to convey meaning. To transmit one's message in real time, this procedure demands efficient retrieval of linguistics and sociocultural knowledge from the long-term memory. In order to make speech, articulation requires mastery of the sounds and sounds patterns, according to Burns and Hill 2013 and Go 2016. The three mental processes can occur sequentially. For example, when learners mentally prepare their remarks before formulating and delivering them, or simultaneously, for instance, when impromptu speech could not be automatic, according to Go 2016. The process of producing speech could not be automatic, but rather conscious and difficult, depending on the learner's proficiency, according to Hardays in Govinder 2018. Learners may be under a lot of processing and production demands during spontaneous engagement. In order to make up their lack of fluency, low proficiency learners may need to spend more time organizing and practicing their communications, according to Hardays and Govinder 2018. Or they may employ communicative strategies to postpone production, according to Go 2016. At the conclusion of utterance or the entire speech event, they may also engage in self-monitoring, checking their message for accuracy and appropriateness, and evaluation, assessing the effectiveness of the message delivery and the degree to which communicative goals are achieved. According to Go 2016, the learner may feel nervous and resistant when speaking because of the processing challenge that consequent danger of face loss involved. As the result, the speaking lesson needs to be handled appropriately, which is not only a difficult mental function but also a demanding affected one, according to Burns and Hill 2013.
The third factor, non-verbal messaging. Use gambits when offering things to classmates, teachers, etc. Affect the communication competencies in classroom communication of high-performing students and the average performing students. The majority of the time, gambits are used to start a conversation. Gambits should be used in classroom communication to not only start, maintain, and conclude the conversation, but to develop expressive and meaningful conversation in addition to ensuring that it flows naturally when spoken. According to Chalak and Norozi 2014, asserted, gambits can influence the process of turn-taking in the communication. From Brimas Reskiawan 2016. Added to the average performing students is the statement, express emotional reaction to what is explicitly stated and implied text.
You are more likely to connect in profound and meaningful ways when you open up and share your inner experiences and thoughts. You can increase your chances of being understood and validated by communicating effectively by utilizing the tactics. Number 1, understand your feelings. You must first identify your feelings in order to communicate them. Most people find that taking some quiet time to think things over helps. Our hectic, noisy out 10 minutes each day to focus with our emotions. Consider setting out 10 minutes each day to focus solely on your emotions. I find that taking a walk helps me to get my ideas straight, but you can also try sitting in different spots and just thinking or journaling your thoughts. Try to put your feelings into words while keeping in mind that you can experience multiple emotions at once. Investigate recent events in your life that might be connected to your emotions. Understanding your feelings will help you identify your needs and wants, which can then be expressed. Number 2, be discerning about who you share with. Feelings are private aspects of who you are, and you should not just tell anyone about them. Start out cautiously and only express emotions. Emotions that make you feel safer and less exposed. If they are favorably received, spread the word rather, and so on. Number 3, respond, do not react. We occasionally make the error of trying to express our emotions in the heat of the moment. As a result, we frequently speak without thinking or having had a chance to collect our thoughts. It is fine to request a break from continuous discussion or to wait until you have had time to gather your thoughts before striking up a chat. Ryan, from aforementioned scenario, would not be doing himself any favors if he ignored his girlfriend or assumed she did not care. He prepared himself for effective communication when he gave himself time to identify his needs and feelings. If you need to have a difficult conversation with someone because you are struggling with uncomfortable feelings, I advise trying the following strategies before the conversation. Process your thoughts in a journal or with a supportive friend. Practice your responses aloud and or in writing. Do something to reduce stress and calm yourself. Next is find the right time. Be deliberate about when you try to express your emotions. People are frequently attempt to express their wants when the other person is preoccupied, distracted, intoxicated, tired, or in a foul mood. Make sure you approach the other individual when she or he is open to talking to you and willing to do so. Planning and requesting time to be set aside are occasionally necessary. Try to talk to people face-to-face whenever possible. Although technology makes life easier, it is still challenging to convey emotions clearly by text or email. Next is be direct. Clear and direct communication is effective. Once again, it is simpler to be direct when you know what you are trying to express. I statements are the typical technique for expressing your demands and feelings while lowering defensiveness. I am feeling blank, angry, or alone. Because blank, you have been working late this week. And I would want blank to reschedule more time to spend together. This is a straightforward formula for I statement. With practice, you might discover that this is a direct and non-confrontational method to convey your feelings, even though at first it might feel awkward. Number 6. Pay attention to body language and tone of voice. Your tone of voice and body language are equally as significant as what you say. It might be quite challenging to recognize your own speech tone. Have you ever been accused of yelling when you are not even aware you were doing it? When an argument becomes heated, you begin to convey these wrong ideas. Your body language shows that you are curious and willing to learn. Your facial expressions, eye contact, and body language such as your crossed or open arms, sitting or standing, facing someone, or turning away all contribute to how you convey this. Number 7. Be a good listener. Of course, communicating involves more than merely stating your needs and feelings. It also involves listening intently and attempting to comprehend the feelings of the other person. Verbal cues like yes, okay, I see, and nod might be used to indicate that you are paying attention. Another excellent communication technique is to clarify your understanding by asking questions. Reflective listening is yet another skill that therapists frequently impart. When someone speaks, the other person listens and then reflects or paraphrases what have they learned and heard, asking if they missed anything. The first person then clarifies or adds anything that was unclear or omitted, and so on until the first person is satisfied that they have comprehended everything. Again, throughout listening may not seem natural, but it ensures that both people feel understood, and with practice, it will more natural. According to Sharon Martin, LCSW 2017.
The use of verbal and nonverbal communication strategies to forestall and repair communication on breakdown affect the communication competencies in classroom communication of least performing students.
Numerous studies have received that a sizable portion of daily and interpersonal communication consists of nonverbal activities. Here are a few nonverbal cues that can help you to communicate more effectively in your next meeting. The first one, make a proper eye contact. A significant portion of nonverbal communication involves eye contact. Maintaining eye contact while speaking is a fantastic approach to let the other people or other person know you are listening and paying attention to what they are saying. Keep your eyes on the person's face as they speak and glance at them again when you respond. But avoid gazing to make good eye contact. Instead of concentrating on just one or two people when speaking to a group, attempt to surely make eye contact with everyone present, especially those in the back. Be mindful, though, because in some cultures, avoiding eye contact denotes disinterest. Others could feel uncomfortable if they make too much eye contact. Your posture is important. Face your audience directly and attentively while standing and sitting up straight. Use hand gestures and some movement to underline your remarks. Some movements to underline your remarks if applicable. Do not fidget, pick at your nails, or cross your arms and legs. All of this may signal that you are uneasy, uninterested, or even defensive. Additionally, be considerate of others' personal space and keep in mind that different cultures and people may have different standards and preferences about physical proximity and contact. Next, facial expressions do not lie. Our emotions are tightly correlated with our facial expression, which makes simple to see with what we are thinking and experiencing. Facial expression come naturally to us when we engage with others. Think about how much a simple nude, grin, or frown may say. Recognize your own facial emotions and work on relaxing them in front of a mirror to project an open look, and while you are doing it again, you will observe that it will simpler and more interesting to pick up someone's interest in what you are saying. Next, play with your tone of voice. Another crucial nonverbal cue is tone of your voice. It can express emotions, sentiments like joy, sorrow, rage, and boredom. When you speak, be aware how your tone affects other people and pay attention to it since it can help to magnify your message. Those listening will be inspired to share your enthusiasm and remain attentive if you are enthusiastic and passionate about what you are discussing and show that in your tone of voice. We all heard speakers with monophonic tones. Did you experience mental wandering? Did you stop being interested in what they had to say? Aim to avoid being that person. Make sure you have the clear pronunciation and refrain from speaking too quickly or slowly. Next one, pay attention to discrepancies in behavior. Someone may not be as happy as they appear. Their words and actions don't match, such as when a team member claims they are enthusiastic to work a new project, but it is instead glancing down at the floor or scowling. Discover the issue and how can you help by having this warning and looking further. Next one, when in doubt, ask. Misreading the cues is one of the major dangers of decoding nonverbal communication. Ask for clarification if you are unsure or perplexed by someone's nonverbal indications. By doing this, you avoid a misunderstanding. Moreover, if you delve deeper into people's message and intent, you may discover what they are truly attempting to express. Next, practice makes perfect. Some individuals may have an innate aptitude for recognizing nonverbal signs. Do not worry if you're not one of them. By exercising your skills, you can be better. If it is helpful to observe others people nonverbal communication in order to determine what works and what does not. Think on communicating with friends and family and getting their option on your body language. By using these techniques, you can have a better understanding on your own distinctive communication style. It is according to Macker-Bauer 2022.
In terms of to observe conversation strategies in face-to-face extended oral interactions affects the communication competencies in classroom communication of grade 7 students.
6 ways to improve your nonverbal communication skills. A face-to-face chat, a lot of verbal communication. Our body language, eye contact, posture, and other nonverbal cues frequently convey the most. These nonverbal cues have a significant impact on how people understand our words and intentions. Strong nonverbal communication can demonstrate your support by demonstrating that you are genuinely care about the speaker and paying attention to their words. It is critical to be mindful of both our personal and nonverbal indicators of a person we are speaking with in order to demonstrate our support. Keep the following advice in mind when having your next face-to-face discussion regarding mental health. First one, pay close attention to what the person says. To be a good listener, you must pay close attention to what other person is saying. It may be beneficial to someone of their exact words when corresponding to what they said. This level of detail shows how much you care. Second one, maintain comfortable eye contact. While maintaining eye contact, avoid gazing. It is crucial to look someone in the eye. It demonstrates your interest in them and your literal attention to them. Number 3, maintain an open body position. Keep your arms crossed across your torso and make a protective of your open body language communicates that you are receptive to listening. The fourth one, sit down even if the person is standing. Being the same level as someone makes you seem less intimidating and can help them feel more at ease while preventing awkward or tense sentiments during private chats. The fifth one, sit along the sides and angle toward the person rather than directly opposite them. This makes the discussion feel casual and not threatening. Nobody deserves to experience being interrogated. Sixth one, avoid fidgeting. Although it may be tempting to fidget during a delicate conversation, doing so can be inconvenient for the speaker. Additionally, it could give the impression that you are uneasy, anxious, or bored. So these nonverbal cues, when combined, can help you to communicate more effectively. Sometimes, what you do is more important than what you say. Being a good listener will help a friend, a family member, or a member of your community who may be dealing with a mental health or drug use crisis since you are demonstrating your support. It is according to Stephanie Natalie 2018.
The fourth factor, listening skills. Listen to social, moral, and economic issues affecting the nation, affect the communication competencies in classroom communication of high-performing students as well as average-performing students. The students need to use critical listening to analyze and evaluate the credibility of the writer's message. In critical listening, you distinguish between facts and opinions of the speaker. This is according to Grade 8 English module, determining various social, moral, and economic issues discussed in texts listened to, 2022. Addition to the average performing students that affect check their communication competencies in classroom communication is show openness when listening to statements contrary to one's belief.
Being open-minded entails being responsive to a wide range of concepts, claims, and data. Being open-minded is typically regarded as a virtue. It is essential for critical and logical thinking. Asking inquiries and actively looking for facts and contradicts your beliefs are also examples of being open-minded. It also includes the idea that others should be allowed to freely express their opinions and justification even if you do not necessarily share them. You have to be able to put aside your opinions, carefully consider the available data, and accept that you were mistaken in order to accomplish this. That procedure may be challenging, perplexing, painful, or even transformative. You can train your brain to be more open-minded, but it requires a lot of mental effort. Fight confirmation bias. One of the main causes of narrow-mindedness is a cognitive distortion known as confirmation bias. It can be challenging to get rid of this propensity. The confirmation bias refers to the tendency to give more weight to information that supports our pre-existing opinions while ignoring information that contradicts them. Ask questions. Most people want to think that they are intellectually superior to others. Additionally, having faith in your own decisions is crucial in many respects. However, it is important to keep in mind what would appear to be tenacity or commitment to specific values may actually be a type of narrow-mindedness. Being able to question oneself is a necessary component of having an open-minded. Next is give it time. Your first reaction when hearing something you disagree with can be to question or it just shut down. You get into a frame of thinking where you are just attempting to show the other person incorrect. Sometimes, before you even get a chance to analyze all the issues, instead of listening or taking into account of opposing viewpoint. Next is practice humility. Try to remember that the brain is far from flawed and inaccurate than most of us prefer to acknowledge, even if you are an authority or a given subject, according to Kendra Cherry 2023. In today's world, communication is more crucial than ever in the high-tech, high-stress environment, but we are spending less and less time actually listening to one another. Sincere, focused listening has become increasingly rare. Building connections, resolving issues, ensuring understanding, and preventing conflict can all be facilitated through active listening. Next is reflect on your own state of mind. Make sure you are in the correct frame of mind to discuss and listen without passing judgment before approaching someone with your words. To ensure that you are the calm, open, and prepared to assist your peer in need, consider your own mental condition. Next is adopt an attitude of acceptance, genuineness, and empathy. Adopting an attitude of acceptance is acknowledging the validity of the other person's sentiments, personal beliefs, and expressions, even if you do not share or agree with them. Being more real and empathic can be achieved by taking the time to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Next is use verbal skills to show that you are listening. You can communicate to someone that you are actively listening by using simple language techniques. This entails asking questions, paying attention to verbal and nonverbal signs, using few prompts such as I see and and refraining from interjecting to give the other person space to fully express their thoughts and feelings. Next is maintain positive body language. Positive body language can convey to the other persons that you are about them and are listening. This entails maintaining friendly eye contact, sitting down as opposed to standing, sitting next to rather than directly across from the individual, and maintaining an open body posture. Next is recognize cultural differences. You may need to modify certain verbal and non-verbal actions, such as the degree of eye contact or amount of personal space. If you are assessing someone from a culture that is different from your own, before dealing with the person, be ready to discuss what is realistically appropriate for their culture or to seek guidance from someone who shares with their cultural background. Mental Health, First Aid USA, 2019.
To determine when to listen and when to take down notes in lecturettes or oral reports affects the communication competencies in classroom communication of least performing students.
Techniques and tips for listening and note-taking. Write phrases rather than complete sentences. Only jot down the essential words that will help you understand the point. Do not use terms like the and the do not have further the meaning of what was said in the lecture. Keep in mind important technical or field-specific words. Write your own notes down. It helps you understand and remember what you hear if you can make sense of what you are hearing. Try to paraphrase everything except for the places where precise information must be noted. Use headings, subheadings, and numbers lists to organize your notes. Use headings to denote subjects group or to list the bibliographies of your sources. Use an outline format, a numbering system, or indenting to show clearly the order of the lecture's information and to help you distinguish between significant and minor ideas. Next is code your notes. Use color and symbols to mark structure and emphasis. To emphasize key portions, ideas, and diagrams, use color. Additionally, you can categorize and link ideas or information by topic using different colors. However, when you are in the classroom, try not to think about color coding too much. It is more beneficial to conduct the majority of the highlighting and underlining when you are reviewing your notes later because it takes time and concentration. To indicate essential informations, examples, definitions, or other resources, underline, circle, star, etc. Create a custom marking system to identify each category. If you miss something, write keywords, skip a few spaces, and get the information later. Leave a space on the page for your own notes and comments. University of New South Wales, 2022.
Listen to detailed reports, lecturettes, and issues affect the communication competencies in classroom communication of grade 7 students.
Every sector values have strong communication skills, and listening is a crucial component of good communication. In work settings and beyond, it can be helpful to evaluate and improve your listening abilities. It can be helpful to assessing your present listening abilities to identify the areas that want development. Here are some suggestions for enhancing your listening abilities. First, maintain eye contact with the speaker. Avoid glancing out the window, texting, scrolling through your phone, or scanning a computer screen while someone is talking. Avoid any unwanted interruptions. Give the speaker your whole attention. try to gaze at them. This gives them a nonverbal cue that you are paying attention to what they have to say, which encourage them to keep talking. Be aware that the speaker not be making direct eye contact with you because they are uncomfortable, bashful, or their culture forbids it. Regardless of whether the speaker give you a glance, you should keep your back to them. Number 2, visualize what the speaker is saying. To assess, do you remember what you hear, try to visualize what the speaker is discussing as you listen. This could be a literal illustration or other ideas connected to the subject. When you are listening for extended durations, this will make it easier for you to retain words and phrases. You will not need to prepare for what to say next if you can visualize what the speaker is saying. If you find yourself drifting off, be careful to get back on track right away. Number 3, limit judgments. Listen without judging the speaker as they say in your head. Even if the message make you anxious or agitated, try to stop thinking about critical or judgmental remarks because doing this so impairs your capacity to pay attention. Additionally, you should listen with an open mind and recognize that the other person is sharing their perspective with you. As they chat to you further, you can notice that they make more sense and will not fully understand the story if you do not listen. The 4th one, do not interrupt. Each person analyzes information and talk at their own pace. If you someone speaking slowly, try to develop patience and wait for him or her to complete before attempting to speed things up by anticipating what they will say next or responding before they have finished speaking. Interrupting conveys the speaker the wrong message. If you could imply what you have to say is more significant than what they have to say, that you do not care what they have to say, or that this discourse is competitive. It is crucial to avoid providing a solution. People primarily just want you to listen. However, if you have a great concept, you might think about getting permission to discuss it before offering your answer. The 5th one, wait for a pause to ask questions. It is possible that you do not comprehend everything someone says. It is better to wait until they pause before requesting clarification on the subject or word you didn't understand. The 6th one, ask clarifying questions. Maintaining the focus of the discourse is made easier with clarifying questions. Instead of asking a question regarding anything unrelated to the major point the speaker is attempting to make, you should only ask questions that are relevant to your understanding. It demonstrates that you are listening, paying attention, and prepared to discuss things further when you clarify things without interjecting. The 7th one, emphasize with the speaker. For listening to be effective, empathy is necessary. You should express yourself as a speaker does. Your words and facial expression, for instance, should transmit the same feelings as those expressed on their face, such as a grief or delight. Although it requires focus and effort, empathizing with speaker promotes relationship and open communication. The 8th one, pay attention to nonverbal cues. Nonverbal communication is one form of interpersonal communication. When someone is speaking with you, their body language, tone of voice can reveal a lot about them. By observing someone's eyes, mouth, and shoulder position while they are speaking, it is simple to determine if they are bored, excited, or irritated. As a result, listening also entails observing non-verbal signs, making assumptions about a person's intention when they are speaking to you is helpful. Number 9, provide the speaker with feedback. Both vocal and non-verbal feedback is possible. You can utilize non-verbal indicators like nodding your head and utilizing the appropriate facial expression, as well as verbal input by saying things like, "I understand that I must be difficult," or "Okay." The idea is to let the speaker know that you are paying attention by sending cues. Make careful to repeat the task list back to the speaker when you are given tasks so they are aware that you are aware of what to complete. Another sign of attention is writing down what they say. Number 10, practice listening. Being conscious of your action when someone is speaking to you will help you to improve your listening skills. You can do this by taking notes after an in-person conversation or by listening to audiobooks or podcasts without the text on the screen in front of you. To see how much knowledge you can remember, try listening to clips that are not longer than 4 minutes and playing them again. This can improve your overall communication skills and make you more conscious of your function as a recipient of information, according to Jennifer Henry, 2023.
Finally, the 5th factor, participation, the student's role in classroom communication. Do self and peer editing using a set of criteria affect the communication competencies in classroom communication of high-performing students and the average-performing students. According to Nicole, 2014, students are not just learning by constructing meaning from feedback provided by others. Rather, they are learning by constructing feedback meanings themselves.
A rubric or set of criteria that allows for both quantitative and qualitative feedback is frequently used to ask the group to rate each other's performance, helping students learn how well each individual perform in the group and completing the group experience. Along with the feedback from their peers, group members may assess their own performance within the group. When paired with the teacher's evaluation, peer and self-assessment can paint a more complete picture of student performance in class, according to University of British Columbia 2019. A range of strategies and tools are available for peer assessment. Teachers should select and adapt this to suit the needs of their students at key assessment points. Here are strategies and tools. You can support the student providing peer assessment by discussing the strategies and tools they can use. Traffic lights. Green shows the work addresses the success criteria. Amber indicates room for improvement. Red suggests that the success criteria is not evident. Feedback band. Top, a positive aspect of the work, filling a section of the work that could be improved. Bottom, a positive aspect of the work. Weather gauge. Warm, a signals positive feedback in relation to success criteria. Cold indicates areas for improvement. Hints provide advice for raising the temperature to meet success criteria. Stars and stairs. Stars identify where the work meets the success criteria. Stairs suggests steps for making improvement to the work. PMI charts. P for plus, meets criteria. M for minus, criterion not evident. I, interesting, something to improve. SWOT analysis. For S, strengths, areas that show evidence of success. W, weaknesses, sections that need to work. O, opportunities, aspects that could be further developed. T for traits, obstacle to improve. Ladder of feedback. Step 1 involves reading, listening, asking, clarifying questions. Step 2, identify the strengths. Step 3, identify the areas for improvement. Step 4, suggest ways to improve. Checklists or rubrics. Checklists or rubrics provide a list of look-fors, which are outline of success criteria, and can include descriptions of levels of performance to guide and focus assessment. Thinking hats. Thinking hats explore a piece of work from different perspectives in order to focus the feedback. White for facts, green for creativity, yellow for positives, red for reaction, blue for process behind the product, and black for concerns. Peer discussion and conferencing. Peer discussion and peer-to-peer conferences enable students to give feedback on the task to a peer and receive a response to their comments, according to New South Wales 2022. While utilizing rubrics and scoring criteria to evaluate peer ethics can sometimes help students become better writers, giving feedback to peers is constantly more beneficial for students than any other aspect of the peer review process, according to Pachman and Son, 2015.
The statement that affects the communication competencies in classroom communication of least performing students and the general result is to prepare school project proposals, ongoing project evaluation, and end of the project reports.
A guide to using project-based learning in the classroom. Project-based learning, PBL, is a style of instructions that promotes learning via active participation in personally relevant and real-world tasks. Typically, students will work on a project for a long time, from a week to a semester, that requires them to address a challenging subject or solve a real-world problem. After that, they demonstrate what they have learned by developing a public work or presentation for an actual audience. Students can gain in-depth subject knowledge as well as transferable abilities like critical thinking, cooperation, creativity, and communication by working in this manner through project-based learning. PBL has also been proven to unleash an communicable creative energy among students and teachers, improving learning results for everyone and increasing students' engagement. We live in a modern world, perpetuated and progressed through the effective completion of projects. According to Robert Shiwitz, the technology coordinator at Palatine High School in Illinois and a writer for Schoology. In other words, everything we do on weekends, from planning a fundraiser to preparing for a presentation, is really just a project, according to True Educational Partnership 2020. What are some ideas for a school project? It could appear like a time-consuming chore for teachers to provide school tasks. They might consider concepts for a project for school However, it is important to realize that there are many different kinds of school projects, and teachers can try new things when giving kids project subjects. Intriguing suggestions for classroom projects include: teachers can encourage pupils to improve their writing and communication abilities through classroom assignments. They can also instruct their students to keep a journal or write about their daily activities and vacation activities. They can request model design work from their students, depending on the kids' interest. The model can be a scientific or a math one. They can also encourage their students to apply those models to problem solving. For all learners, time management skills are essentials. As part of a project, teachers can ask their students to create a schedule. They might encourage their kids to experiment with writing poetry, drawing, and other forms of creative expression to foster creativity. Writing poetry can be used as a school assignment. Here are a few suggestions on how teachers might engage students more in project work. To allow their students to enjoy working on individual projects, they should incorporate as many activities as they can. How can teachers support school projects? Teachers encourage pupils to bring projects home so they can assist their understanding of the material. Additionally, taking part in school projects encourages pupils to learn more about their interest. Here are some actions teachers can take to assess their pupils and ensure that they finish the project on time. Make students in charge of their projects. When handling projects, teachers should offer their pupils the advantage. They must continue to assess and direct the process at each stage. By making mistakes, students will gain experience and take ownership of the project. Help them find the best topics. Teachers may instruct their pupils to select a topic and begin working on it as a project. As an alternative, they could aid with topic selection. Teachers and students working together can decide the topics or subjects that students can work on. Break the entire project into smaller tasks. Trying to learn everything at once could overwhelm students. Teachers can therefore assess them in decomposing the entire endeavor into manageable tasks. Students will have the opportunity to demonstrate their superiority while the work will become more manageable. Next is create a timeline. Teachers can assist their students in creating a timeline once the project has been broken up into smaller pieces. They might encourage pupils to adhere to the schedule so that the project can be finished on time. Talk to parents for additional support. Students frequently require extra help to finish the job. In these situations, teachers might work with the parents to simplify the assignments for the pupils. Teachers, to assess their pupils with their project work, can use the aforementioned advice. They can also make the procedure more interesting for them, according to Divyanish Borja 2022.
We are the researcher. I'm Sister Regina Zampada, MCSC.
I'm Andres Lacrate.
I'm Eliza Gutierrez.
Thank you